Now, I don't mean to brag, but a couple years ago, I went on national television to talk about this new phenomenon among adults called sexting. What I'm saying is, you could call me a little bit of a sextpert. Not to be confused with a sexpert, which is a lot easier to say. Seriously, try to say it. Sextpert, not sexpert, sextpert. So I think it's pretty safe to say that sexting is a pretty routine part of adult American life now. 40% of 18 and 34-year-olds say that they do indeed sex. Sexting, of course, means sending either a sexually explicit message or picture to someone via a cell phone. Hello? There's still so much unease around this idea of sexting, especially the volume of sexting that we are probably doing collectively. And I think it has to do maybe with the permanence, maybe with the explicitness, maybe with that picture aspect, this literal physical exposure going on, and the shareable aspect of sexy text messages, sexy pictures, sexy vines. It just makes us, and by us I mean the broader, more conservative world, uncomfortable. I've been thinking about sexting and Anthony Weiner's sexting scandal lately. You know, he was a congressman, he got caught sexting all these ladies because he accidentally tweeted out a photo of his and everyone was like, and he went to therapy and he came back out in the public limelight and was like, I'm gonna run for New York mayor because that's a comeback story that is just part of the American dream. And then all of a sudden this girl's like, actually he's been sexting me a lot in the past year. So Weiner had to be like, I guess I gotta stop showing pictures of a beep beep. You know, by the way, beep beep is the scientifically accepted term for penis. And so the question is naturally raised, well, is this guy simply addicted to sexting? Because it ruined his career and almost his marriage one time before, and now he's running for mayor. Sexting is ruining his life again. Why doesn't he just put down the cell phone? Some psychologists contend, well, Anthony Weiner has a sexting addiction. But there are scientists who are saying, you know what, calling this just sex addiction and just sending these people off into some kind of sex addiction rehab is not actually addressing the problem, because sex addiction might not be the problem at all. So the more clinical term for sex addiction is hypersexuality, and it's linked to this notion of impulse control. That they can't stop looking at porn, they can't stop sending these texts because they have impulse control problems, which is something that you'll see across all sorts of addictions. Anthony Weiner probably knows in his brain that, hey, you know what? I want to become mayor of New York. Should I send this picture of my penis to somebody? Nope, gonna do it anyway. That's because he's lacking impulse control. The underlying psychology of adult sexting is kind of fascinating. In the study that I reported on, they found that the people who were most likely to sext a lot, maybe the people who had impulse control issues a la Anthony Weiner, actually exhibited really high traits of what's called anxious attachment in relationships. Essentially, these are the people who are very clingy and will do anything to get another person's attention. They just need that kind of constant validation. Simply saying that someone who sexts a lot must have an addiction, go to rehab, ignores maybe some underlying psychology that's going on. And there are also, for the record, people who might be perfectly mentally healthy who are sexting all the freaking time because maybe they're in long distance relationships or something. And as far as the clinical aspect of this goes, there isn't a lot of expertise on this area of adult sexting specifically, because most of the research that's been done on it has focused only on younger populations, on tweens and teens. But there has been a call for more of what is termed cyber psychology to unravel what's going on both ends of the spectrums of people who are just sending casual sex as part of their sexual repartee, and then people like Anthony Weiner who are kind of maybe ruining their lives a little bit because they can't stop pressing send. I want to hear from you. Do you think that sexting is addictive, or are we really just using addiction as a scapegoat for just bad behavior? You know, just stop sexting, dude. And also for sex addiction, do you think it's real or not? I want to hear all of your thoughts below. Comment, let me know. I am going to be very curious to see what the conversation is like on this one. But keep it clean, you know, unlike a sext. Don't forget to subscribe.